night bars but aren't fanatical about it. It's the KY Sports Guys.
Hello, everybody. We are not in the 99.1 The Hall Studios. We're on the road again, like Willie Nelson said. Coach Jay Hurt along with the Stock Tony, as well as my family, Coach Dina Hurt, Hibachi Brody, Harper Ann. We're all in the truck heading to Walton, Verona today. You're listening to the Ride Along Pod. Couldn't be more excited. And riding shotgun, the main man, the Stock Tony. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you for driving, by the way. What an interesting night we're going to have going up to Walton, Verona. Never been to the athletic complex up there. As you mentioned, Coach D. Hurt, Hibachi Brody. We just ate some hibachi food. Hibachi Brody got his name here last year on this trip, I think. And Harper Ann as well. I think maybe some help from the cast off if we can do this today. Some unique challenges for sure, including our normal imaging. We're going to try to do some imaging, but it may be a little clunky. If you listen to the intro from last week, though, we were in the studios, it was still clunky. So that may be just kind of the parentheses of our show.
You talk about the interesting challenges. I'm driving about 74 miles an hour now, about 10 miles south of Louisville. So, you know, we're going to do the best we can. If I just stop talking and really have to concentrate, you'll understand, I'm sure, as we head towards Gene Snyder or Watterson or whatever direction we're going. Do want to mention this. We're going to talk UK football. One of the reasons we're doing this is because this is probably the biggest moment for UK football fans in our lifetimes. And Halloween fell on Wednesday, so we didn't get to do a show. But we want to talk about UK.
Did you get plenty of candy?
We did, and Harper Ann was great about it. You know, Harper Ann doesn't even like candy.
What?
But she went and got us a bunch of candy so that I could eat it, and I'm super excited.
Basically a substitute candy getter for these years for you.
We put her to work almost like 1700 British style, you know, send her out, get the candy, give it to your parents.
Like a serf.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so we're, as you mentioned, headed up to Walton, Verona. Kentucky plays tomorrow. If you're listening to this live, tomorrow, Saturday, at Kroger Field.
You almost said Commonwealth Stadium.
Almost did. You heard me. Kroger Field tomorrow. And Georgia's coming in. 9-point favorite as last I looked, Georgia. Kentucky not getting the media respect from the national pundits basically all year. Something I wrote about a month ago. I keep getting to recycle the same post. I guess that's good and bad. It's bad because I'd like to see some respect given to us. And it's good because I think, first of all, that shows we're still winning. And secondly of all, I think Benny Snell, some of those guys use this as a little bit of motivation.
Yeah, I think they do. And I think it's interesting because the pollsters, the actual pollsters, refuse to put Kentucky in the top 10. If their resume was under the guise of LSU, if LSU had this resume,
if they had LSU on the voting sheet,
or Ohio State or anybody else, this is a top 5 team.
I think Penn State even.
Oh yeah, USC. Name any traditional power. Nebraska fans are mad at us already.
Boy,
let's say Nebraska.
Salty.
If Nebraska was 7-1 and lost in overtime to Oklahoma, let's say on the road, Nebraska would be top 5. But for whatever reason, the pundits, they just can't wrap their mind around Kentucky being good. And so there's always, excuses. Their quarterback's struggling. The offense isn't very good. They haven't played anybody, which is totally false. So it's frustrating. But the BCS playoff stuff, it's not BCS anymore, but the playoff stuff comes out, and they're number 9. I thought that was a good ranking.
Yeah, I was really excited to see. I really thought AP would be top 10, but hey, you're looking at polls in college football. You've had some discussions before. It's hard for some schools to get that respect on those polls. It's good to see that the new college playoff poll has Kentucky number 9 and really controls of its own destiny to get in a great bowl. Right now, matched up against Ohio State in the projections, which would be an interesting matchup, and it would also lead to that same discussion. One team getting all the respect, one team getting none.
You know, the other angle on this is how big of a party is this going to be in Lexington? I mean, it is going to be absolutely huge. Crowd's going to be nuts. I think that plays in Kentucky's favor. I've seen, who was it? It wasn't Gottlieb, was it? Was it Gottlieb that threw a dart at us?
Oh, yeah.
Joey Galloway threw a couple of darts at us. I think they underestimate the crowd, the fervor. people still think Kentucky's only a basketball school. It's not. I have not seen people this excited about Kentucky football in my lifetime. And I think the crowd's going to be nuts. I think Kentucky has a fighter's chance. That's what I'm saying.
I think Kentucky definitely has a chance. Going to have to play a great game. Best opponent we've seen. I think no one can argue that. But that's a beatable team, as we've seen as well. And this defense. Coach, how many teams have not allowed 20 points this season?
It's fascinating when you think about the lack of respect that some people are giving the Cats. This is one of, if not the best defense in the country statistically. I think it is tied with Clemson as far as points per game. About every statistical category out there, they're dominant. Their safeties and their cornerbacks are tall and very capable. You shared some stats, and we're not big stats people, but you shared some stats about how many times quarterbacks had tried to throw it 20 yards down the field, and we're stuffing them. Nothing's happening. The linebackers are outstanding. The D-line's outstanding. The punter's really good. The point is, this is a really good Kentucky team. I don't think they're getting the credit they deserve. This defense is very capable of throwing a shutout.
Yeah, and I don't care who you're playing. This defense is real. I think teams are finding that out. You mentioned those stats. No SEC quarterbacks having any success throwing the ball downfield against this team. Between, as you mentioned, the secondary, and then you've got your Josh Allen, who's leading in sacks. I actually saw this stat. Can't remember who to attribute it to. Georgia has 10 sacks on the year as a team. Josh Allen has 10 sacks on the year as a player. That's pretty impressive. And shows you also that UK's line blocks. This team is capable of being passed against. We saw, obviously in a little bit different circumstance, we saw what happens, though, or could happen when Terry Wilson gets a chance to pass. And we've talked about this before. You mentioned it a couple weeks ago. I thought it was a great point. On the ride up here before we turned on the phones, we were talking about it. I think Coach Grant, I think Coach Stoops have to just basically turn him loose, turn Terry Wilson loose, give him a chance to pass the ball, and open it up for Benny Snell and the rest of the team, AJ Rose even. And if something happens, rely on the defense to sort of bail them out.
By the way, folks, traffic's good. 3 lanes, a little bit backed up. Got a U-Haul in front of me. I don't know about you, but I always like the traffic reports early morning. I grew up watching the Ralph Emery show.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the traffic. I don't know. Are you big on, like, traffic reports from studios?
I like the helicopter traffic report.
Yes, that guy. Even if it's not a real helicopter.
I wonder how I would do if I were doing a helicopter sound while you were doing the traffic report right now. You ready to try it?
Yeah. So far in Louisville, lanes are clear heading into downtown. Traffic moving along crisply in both lanes. That's your traffic, sponsored by the KY Sports Guys.
All right, the helicopter just stopped right. I don't know. My helicopter noise got better in the middle. I don't know if it's loud enough or not. I forgot how to do a helicopter noise.
Let's ask Chief Statistician, Coach Dina Hurt. Was that pretty good traffic report or no?
For some reason, it sounded like an old Vietnam War movie right there.
Speaking of sponsorships, I do want to say this. We haven't done a podcast in a long time. We've been on 99.1 The Hoss for quite a while. But I do want to give a shout-out to Jerry Garris, Coach Jerry Garris. If you're a coach out there, principal, administrator, etc., you need some LED boards, you need some locker room enhancements, etc., give Jerry Garris a call. Look him up. He does great work.
Jerry Garris, you can find him on Facebook. You can also find Stoll's Country Store. We did a podcast. Our last podcast was from Stoll's Country Store this June or July. We had a great time up there. Mari and the gang. It's like no other place I've ever actually been. The middle of Andyville, but you'll find out where that is when you go. Stoll's Country Store, check them out.
Yeah, you're pretty close to being in Indiana, I'll say it there, and just say there was a big 18-wheeler.
You say Indiana?
Right. Yeah, you're pretty close. You're right at the Ohio River. But it's a beautiful store run by beautiful people, and we appreciate Stoll's Country Store and Jerry Garris for sponsoring the podcast.
You should write slogans. That was a beautiful slogan.
Thank you so much.
About a beautiful store run by beautiful people.
Did you see, speaking of beautiful, did you see where Stephen King has decided that the word amazing is tired?
No, but I'm not sure anybody's ever segued by saying, speaking of beautiful,
how about
Stephen King? Yeah. Yes, I did say that he said amazing was tired. Yeah. I agree. Awesome, probably also tired. I use it a lot, though. So
excessively tired, but I did too. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? I'm sure there'll be some amazing plays tonight. So.
It'll be awesome.
You get back to the football game. First time in our lifetimes. First time in program history. Of course, the SEC East and West hasn't been around that super long, but this is the first chance Kentucky's ever had to even sniff of going to the SEC championship game. This is unbelievably exciting for me.
It really is. And to know that that game tomorrow basically plays it out and lets you know who, well, it doesn't, basically it does play it out, tells you who goes where. It is amazing. And here's another amazing thing. I can't speak for everybody in Big Blue Nation, but by this time of the year, you're tacitly watching the Cats, hoping for them to make a bowl, but you're thinking about Tuesday night. And I'm thinking about Tuesday night as well, but it's not dominating my Big Blue fandom like it normally would.
Speaking of which, Kentucky's last exhibition is tonight, and so for all of Big Blue Nation, that'll be exciting. I hope they look a little better. I really didn't hear a whole lot of great returns on the Transy scrimmage, but it's early. And then you're talking about Tuesday, Kentucky and Duke. You're right, that would be the focus. But instead, I'm telling you, pretty much all of Big Blue Nation is wrapped in football fever.
I'm focused on this Halloween truck we're just passing, 50% off. If they'd give us a little sponsorship money, I would tell them where to find it.
I am here for that.
50% off
yes.
of Halloween supplies in
I
this
am here for that.
Halloween truck.
Hey, this is kind of a generic topic, but I do want to know. Halloween, I like Halloween. Then there's Thanksgiving, then there's Christmas. I'm a huge Christmas guy. I don't even get to the tired debate of when it's too early to put. I don't even want to care. But between Thanksgiving meal or Christmas meal, I saw that on Twitter somewhere by somebody. Speaking of which, police have somebody pulled over. It's not us. Haha.
Don't get too cocky.
But which meal? Which meal is it? Or which foods do you look forward to?
I believe that was the bottom line. They've been doing a lot of polls
they
lately.
have. Those guys are good guys.
Yeah, and they've been on the show before. Well, one or two of them have. But anyway, I actually voted for 4th of July barbecue until I saw Thanksgiving. I would have probably changed my vote. I'm a Thanksgiving turkey guy with all the stuff covered in gravy.
If you will indulge me, let's go around the car. 2 choices, Christmas or Thanksgiving. Which meal, food-wise, do you look forward to the most? Let's start with Coach Dina Hurt.
Trying to pass the phone. Let's hope this works.
Coach Dina Hurt.
What?
All right, pass the phone back.
We were giving you the phone to hear.
Thanksgiving or Christmas meal, which one do you like the best?
Thanksgiving.
She votes Thanksgiving. Brody, how about you, Brody?
Yeah.
Thanksgiving or Christmas meal, which one do you like best?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
There we go.
Harper Ann.
I don't know. French fries are the same no matter what
French
meal
fries
it is
are-
for her.
There you go.
Well,
Chloe's kind of like that too, I think.
as often happens, Stock Tony, our attempt at novelty fails. This reminds me of the Gunner Word episode. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen. That Gunner was great, but at one point we were talking and we said, "Gunner, what do you think?" And Gunner said,
Man.
"What?
Yeah.
Are you talking to me?"
He was earning his keep that day. For sure.
Oh, good stuff.
I'm reading a book, sorry.
We had, we did the Haas fundraiser the other night, Close for Kids.
It's really good. I think, what did we raise?
A lot. That's all I know.
Nearly
but a lot.
$8,000, and
There
for
we
our
go.
small community, that's a good chunk of change. Yeah.
And you had left. You had to go. Dr. Lyle and I finished the show. And I asked him because I said tomorrow is Halloween, the day after is when you start putting up your Christmas stuff, I think. And he thinks the day before Christmas, Christmas Eve, is the day he would prefer to put his
Is that
Christmas
right?
stuff.
It's a little bah humbuggish.
Did you ever watch those old movies where they hung the tree and fixed it like in a Christmas Story, I feel like, on the Christmas Eve?
Pretty close to the day, yes.
It's because the tree would die if you had it out
Right.
there.
You only had so
Come
much
on.
time.
And I've told the story many times of my dad going out and cutting a live tree right after Thanksgiving one year and then nailing it to 2 boards. And I would tell that one on him because it was a bone of contention for a while in my home.
I love it. That's outstanding.
I learned, though.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
I do miss a live tree. They're not quite as pretty, but
Certain
they're
smell
neat.
about 'em.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you get that smell in the can?
In this era, I'm going to say yes, you probably can. UK football, tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central. CBS, it's the game of the week. Who would have ever thunk it? Winner take all, going to the SEC Championship. On the other side, Alabama, LSU, very much the same.
A little early in on that imaging there. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, Alabama, LSU.